Today we are outside in this lovely weather at the park instead of at the gym because some of you might actually want to work outside, and today we're going to be building back with bands. Let's go. What's going on? It's your dude That Guy Health. Today we're outside. We're gonna do some back routines using resistance bands, all right? So there's a couple of things we're gonna go into before we get started, and after that, we're gonna be on our way. You already know what I typically sip on. That's ABC Core Nutritionals, and there's the discount code. You can use that. It helps you with endurance and muscle recovery after and during workout. That's why it's called an intra workout. Second, we're going to be using resistance bands, and I don't care what type of resistance it is, whether it's free weights, machine weights, or resistance bands. If you don't use them properly, you can injure yourself, so always exercise precaution. Always warm up and stretch if needed before doing any routine, all right? Next, since we are working back, you need to know that the bicep is a synergist muscle, and by saying synergist, I mean it's a secondary muscle to the primary muscles, which are the back, because of the motion. So this motion, people usually choke up short up here in the back movements, and you bring in more bicep. The problem with that is once you start increasing weight or resistance and your form is not right and it's that faulty, you'll put excessive pressure on that bicep and you could risk injuring your bicep. So when we're doing these back movements, you're gonna see that I wanna focus on having my elbow down and pulling here. Although that range of motion seems shorter, you will feel much more intensification in the back versus up here and feeling it in your delt and your biceps. So we're going to be right here and really focus on that squeeze and that isometric hold at the back so we can excite that back muscle. Next, we're going to cover a few ranges, okay? We're going to go from unilateral, bilateral. We're also going to have some compound movements in there where it will involve the core, the delt, the trap, and of course the lat, which is the main focus of the day, okay? So let's get into this real quick. We're going to check out these bands we have. Now, most band sets are going to come with a light, a medium heavy, and a heavy. I usually like to go ahead and do the medium to light bands when we're doing the workout because more is not always better. Like I said just a minute ago, using increased or over resistance with improper form means that you're going to recruit other muscle groups instead of putting most of your pressure in the primary muscle group, all right? So I like to use the medium band or the light band. Now, there is a routine where we could possibly use the heavier band, but I'll still stay with that, and that'll be the bent over row, all right? So you're going to want to go ahead and find you someplace with this because we're going to do a lat pull down move. We're going to do a low cable move. You want to have two anchor points, at least a higher anchor point than where you are when you'll be sitting, and a lower anchor point to where when you're sitting, you can go ahead and exercise that low cable type row movement. So let's go ahead and get started in this. I have my beautiful wife behind the camera, so she's going to be filming today. And I'm not going to give her any crap about it. She's excellent with the camera. So we're going to take this and do a slip knot. What you'll see is I'm going to take it, wrap it around a structure, go in like so, and then it will cinch down on itself. We'll go over here hoping I don't hit some type of beehive. Now remember, the more that you have taken up in here means more resistance. So if you happen to mount up at this anchor point and it's just too much resistance for you, even with a medium resistance band, then move it down a little bit. That's not a problem, all right? So what we're gonna do, and as you see, I did the slip knot to where it's on the bottom versus the top, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're first gonna go ahead and do a unilateral movement, right and left, and we're gonna do a single lat pull down, and that's using the right arm first, and then you can use the left arm. So what I'm gonna do today, since some people mentioned that they want just one set of each exercise, then you could take and add as many sets and as many reps. We're gonna do what you wanna do. I'm gonna do one set of each, but what you wanna do at home or at the park is you wanna do 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps, or maybe 12 to 15 reps. You decide for hypertrophy, okay? 3 to 5 rep range is usually for strength or power, that type of situation. So we're gonna stay 8 to 12, 12 to 15, all right? So I'm gonna get down here and I'm gonna go ahead, make sure I got my feet up here on the structure to make sure I'm anchored so I don't move forward. I'm gonna take the band into my hand. I'm gonna put my chest up, which is very important when doing pull-ups or any other back exercise, to put your chest up, causing a nice little C curvature in the back. And I wanna go ahead, retract my shoulder, and then I wanna pull down like so and go back in that same range, because what I'm doing is when I keep my elbow down and trying to keep my shoulder back and come up, is I'm stretching that lat on the eccentric, and then I'm pulling down. Notice where my elbow is. It's not up here, it's down here. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm gonna switch hands, doing the same thing on the left side. Retract my shoulder, chest up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, that's a uni move. All right, individual lat pull down move. Now we're gonna move to the bilateral move, which is where we're gonna use 2 hands, 2 limbs, and go ahead and do a traditional lat pull down like if you had the bar, but your hand placement is gonna be different. We're gonna keep the same form, chest up, and we wanna bring those elbows down, okay? So if you have to, you could choke up higher on the band to get more resistance. If not, just stay right here, but you at least want to have a little preload when you're on the eccentric because you still want to get that lat to stretch out when you come forward, all right? So chest up, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice little hold on the eccentric. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, doing it that way, I feel all the focus all the way through my lower to upper lat. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little wrinkle that I like to add because not enough work gets done on the posterior delt. So I like to always incorporate that throughout the week to try to emphasize and put a little bit more hypertrophy in that to have that nice teardrop shape all around shoulder look. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to do a bilateral move. I'm going to bring my position up higher, and it's going to take some of the focus off of the lat and put it more in the teres major and the rear delt. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to choke down a little bit more on this band. Still keep your chest up. All right, and you're gonna bring those shoulders back, but you're not bringing them down to your hip, because when you bring down to your hip, you're gonna go ahead and bring the lat back in, and you're gonna take that pressure off the teres major, which is what this wrinkle is called for. We're trying to build the back as overall, so you want all the nice fine definition of all muscle groups when it comes to working back or any muscle group, all right? So what you do is choke up here, chest up, try to retract your shoulders back, and pull. 1, nice isometric hold. 2, and you can feel it in the teres major and in the delt, so that would make it a compound movement. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. So when it comes to the sitting down movements, feel free. Come on, walk through. We're gonna let these lovely people walk on by. It is a public park. They're out here trying to get their cardio in too. So when it comes to the sitting down movements, the lat pull down, unilateral and bilateral, and of course that wrinkle where I showed you bringing your position up will help you focus on the teres major and the mid trap, and of course also the rear posterior delt. All right, so now we're gonna get into another compound move where we're gonna do pretty much same thing. We're gonna do a row, but we're gonna do it standing up. So what that is gonna do is that's gonna allow us to go ahead and focus and work on our core. So working on our core when you're standing up, we're gonna go ahead and scoot the band over so we don't stand up on our mat. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're still gonna go ahead and do a row while it's already up here, individual, unilateral, and bilateral, okay? Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead into a low cable row, back down here, reattach it, and get that in, all right? So basically, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna scoot this band over right here, anchor it. I'm gonna grab it with my hand, right hand first. So opposite leg up front, Same leg you're working, right leg back. And the same thing, we want to keep that form, keeping that chest up, and we want to bring this elbow down. And what I try to remember when I'm doing this is I try to almost forget that I have from my elbow all the way up to my hand and focus on just moving my elbow back so that I don't prematurely do this motion, bringing more bicep in, okay? So you can even tell right here, my bicep is soft. When I come here, it's harder. That's because it's the secondary muscle group is being recruited now because of the position. But when I'm here, that bicep is soft, and that's what you want because now the focus is right here in the lat, which is hard. So we're gonna go ahead, 1. And I'm gonna scoot back to put a little more preload on there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, now you can do that same move going to the right hand and you'll be good. Same thing, we're not going to do a full set, full rep range, but the same thing would be good with 2 hands standing here, core, feet even, slight bend in your knees, put your butt back in the hole, chest up, preload it, pull. 1, 2, and if you notice, I always do a nice little isometric hold at the top of that concentric, just to go ahead and put a little bit more tension on that muscle. So now we're gonna take the band off. All right, we're gonna reattach it to the lower ankle point, and we're pretty much gonna show you similar moves, low cable row this time, that you can do, and then we'll do coming back up, because angles do matter. So working from this angle is different from working from that angle. You will work and put a different tension in a different part of the muscle, giving an all-around pretty much good workout, all right? So we're gonna mount right here, this lower point, and I'm gonna come from down here, get it at its lowest point as I can, put it on the wrong way. So I'm gonna come from right here, and we'll come through, and there it is, all right? So it's at its lowest point. I'm gonna sit down once again. Now on this one, I'm gonna go ahead, put my feet a little further out so I have less bend in my knees up this way to not interfere with the band. And it's the same thing. When I take this band right here, I'm gonna choke down on a little bit more, give a little bit more resistance. Be about right here, chest up, and low cable row. And if you wanted to, you could go into the unilateral, where basically you can go ahead and scoot out here to the side and do the same thing, working from this lower ankle point, pulling down and exciting the lat in a different angle, different way, different tension, okay? So that's up to you. You can add that in, and then from here, we'll go ahead and scoot this band over, lower point, and now I'm gonna choke down because I don't want to be as far back, because I want to put more of an angle where I'm gonna pretty much have a steeper attack on it, all right? So I'm gonna actually grab the band instead of staying right here. So grab the band, same thing as when we were standing up. Non-working hand is the leg where you're gonna put your left leg up, mount that, put this leg back, chest up in a C, except we're just slightly bent over, and we're gonna go in and there we go, feels good. Actually, I'm gonna choke down on it a little bit more, get a nice little preload. Oh yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Biceps still nice and soft right there. 10. And if I wanted to go to the other side, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Get right here, nice, chest up, retract your shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Oh yeah. All right. So there you go. And it would be the same thing if you did bilateral. Going ahead, putting both hands on, bent over right here, and you did that, okay? You'll definitely feel it in the lat, possibly maybe even the lower trap, okay? So that's up to you. You could do that. Remember, we're focusing on 3 to 5 sets, 8 to 12 reps, 12 to 15 if you want, okay? So now what we're gonna get into is one of the all-time favorite bent over row. Pretty much excites every muscle in the back. Very good move. This is the move that I told you about earlier, that if you wanted to, you could go to a heavier band. But I always promote you all to practice with medium, light, making sure you have that mind muscle connection, that you're exciting the right muscle group, you feel it in the right muscle group, and then progressively work your way up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step out right here in front of the mat so you can see. Take your hands, go ahead, step on the band. And the reason you might want more is because you got so much band, you might have to take up the slack. If you do, all you kind of do is put a little loop in your band and then step on it, all right? If you need to do that. Or you can grab a heavier band. Bring your arch up, band in the middle. Go ahead, put your butt out, get your back straight, nice chest out. And then you're gonna keep the same principles. You wanna put that elbow back, not crunch up like you're doing a bicep curl. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna do 8 reps, get those shoulders back, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm telling you, resistance bands do give you some pretty good tension and a good workout. Like I'm telling you, the lat is nice and tender. I can just feel the burn in the lat, feel it in the trap, the mid to lower trap, even the delt from those other moves, and always incorporating that isometric hold is an awesome thing, okay? So when it comes to these routines, always take your time, always work in different angles, always work 3 to 5 sets, 8 to 12 reps for hypertrophy. If you're doing something else, go accordingly to that. Like I said, I got the BCAAs right there. I'll give you the discount code, order anytime you want. Always go over to the website. You want to get protocols, training, meal plans. I can personalize everything to you. Get the fitness app, train anywhere in the world, the nation, at www.thatguyhealth.com. And other than that, enjoy the day. And like I always say, be safe. Let's build together, and peace.